welcome to another episode of Creation World Presents Multiverse, our companion show to our regular podcast, Super Flashy Arrow of Tomorrow. This one, we discuss and recap different incarnations of DC properties. I am your host, Mara the Shark Watkins, and I am joined by my co-host, formerly known as Sir Cussalott, now Lord Cussalott, Travis Pointer, aka Dragon King, Big T, T Money, Sweet T, Black Merlin, HNIC. This episode, we're going to be discussing DC Universe animated original Justice League Doom.
Dun, dun, dun.
Doom. How are you this week, Trev?
Oh, tired as always, but it's the life I live. It's just, and I wish it was because I go out and party all the time. It's not. I'm just always busy, and so I don't sleep. And
This just feels like this just feels like typical 30 millennial stuff.
Probably same shit, different day.
Well, all right. So we watched Justice League Doom.
We did.
Some background on it. Came out in 2012. It came as a direct-to-video release, and it was the 13th film of the overall DC Universe animated original movies. It's a sequel to Crisis on Two Earths. A standalone sequel to Crisis on Two Earths. The film uses the same character design by lead character designer Phil Barassa. I can't read my own notes because they're all bunched together.
Aren't they typed?
They are, but they're all.
So it's not even I can't read the handwriting kind of thing. Like, it's typed.
No, it's just the paragraph of it on going together.
Double spacing, Mara. Double spacing.
I'm sorry.
Don't apologize to me. You the one got to read it.
I'm sorry to myself and to the listeners who are listening to me fumble.
Give yourself a hug, because real apologies have to end with a hug and an acceptance of the apology.
There we go. I accept my own apology.
Good. I'm making sure. That's important.
Yeah. Gotta forgive myself so I can fuck myself later.
Exactly. Important.
So because it's animated, we have voice actors. Notable voice actors are
angry sex can still be fun, even if it's with yourself.
Is it? What?
I don't know.
I don't think so. I feel like by yourself it's not the same.
I don't know. I've never masturbated while angry.
Me neither.
With myself, at least.
Yeah. Notable voice actors we have are Kevin Conroy as Batman Bruce Wayne.
The best Batman.
Nathan Fillion as Hal Jordan, Green Lantern. Michael Rosenbaum as Barry Allen and The Flash.
Yep.
There's a whole bunch of other people, but I was not sure who they were, so they didn't feel like they were that notable to me.
Sure.
But you got Susan Eisenberg as Wonder Woman and / Diana. But all right, what were your overall thoughts so far? I mean, from like over the whole movie.
Oh, I enjoy this movie. It's one of my favorites. That's why I suggested it first of all, but it's also just a testament to what I keep telling people all the time, don't fuck with Batman. Like, he can end you. If he wants to end you, he can end you. All of you. And he knows exactly how, and he can do it expeditiously.
Right.
Everybody's I'm like, oh yeah, but he can't do this blah, 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 without prep time, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, but he always has prep time. Like, he met you and prepared. It is just that simple.
He met them and went home and was like, I need to have a plan for them. Was already in the car thinking about all the different ways.
Which is why I'm like, yeah, it's completely plausible when we were watching Injustice, when he said he implanted that virus on Cyborg the day they met. Yes, he did. That is what he does.
Which is funny because in this one, Cyborg wasn't officially part of the Justice League yet. And it was funny. So it's funny to hear it's like it's in there and he's still not even part of the team.
Well, it
yet.
wasn't in there. It wasn't in there on here. But he even said it like it was like the plan doesn't account for him because he hadn't put it in. But the way I see it is he probably didn't put it on his hard drive because Cyborg, being Cyborg, could access his hard drive. So he's just like, no, I'm not going to put it there. It's up here. I implanted the virus, but that's it. Like, I'm not telling nobody about this. I'm not putting it on any hard drive database or anything where he can access it. No.
Smart. I can access my own brain.
Exactly.
Imagine you could do that.
Access your own brain.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we do that every day, though.
Do we? I feel like we don't access all of it.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know that whole thing, what you only use, like, what is it, like 10% of your brain?
Yeah. Is that accurate?
I don't know if it's accurate. I remember hearing it, though.
True.
Might be one of those things you just hear all the time, so you just assume it's true because so many people say it, but you don't know.
You're right.
I've never done research. I've never actually asked somebody who would probably know that, you know? Like, it never went any further than just hearing somebody say it one time and other people said it later, and I just assumed it was all true.
Gotcha.
So, you know, I readily admit I have not done the research. I really don't know.
Big of you. But all right, let's get into discussing how this movie unfolded.
How did it unfold?
So it starts with Batman showing up. Well, what I didn't really notice where he showed up at first, and it was just like there's a dead cop and he has a playing card lodged in his chest.
In his chest.
Yeah, like not like it's glued on, like kind of cut, like
it's in there.
It's inserted into the chest.
What's the card though?
Wasn't it an ace?
Yeah. It was ace of spades. It was, you know, royal flush game.
Oh yeah, which was funny because granted, like well, depending on when we watch, when everyone listens to this, we have covered royal flush game on Super Flashy Arrow tomorrow.
Yeah, they pop up like in different things and different times. Like they look different a lot of times too. Like it's really most of their powers are kind of consistent throughout, you know, but sometimes they're a little different. The one that really changes the most is Ace, because it's just like sometimes Ace is like that big, strong motherfucking robot dude, but sometimes it's like this crazy psychic girl that's just like, you know, a whole nother thing that nobody wants to even touch because she's fucking dangerous. So it's just it varies just depending on where you come across them.
Got you. I just thought the timing was funny that
yeah,
we watched this and we had just saw them on the Flash, like in our most recent. But
those of you watching on Patreon will see this pretty close to that. So
yeah, so great how timing works out. Batman finds this wall that he can just walk through. I don't recall what it was made out of.
Somebody playing a kettle drum?
The police are outside.
That's what your police sound like?
No, I don't really know why they're making that sound, but there's been a lot of crazy shit going on today. So,
so
like
no
a lot of
kettle
people,
drum.
No kettle drum. Just a lot of people getting robbed, stabbed, and shot.
That's a downer. No, you could have just said it was a kettle drum, and I'd have believed you.
I don't even know what a kettle drum is.
It's the thing they play, you know, on the island. That the big ass thing.
Oh, I never knew that's what that was called. Oh, cool. I need to look that up real quick.
I knew she was gonna do that. Like as soon as I described, I guess she's gonna look up the kettle drum now.
Oh, okay. I had to make sure it wasn't the other kind of drum that I was thinking of. I don't think that's a drum.
What was the other kind of drum you were thinking of, Mara?
It's like it's metal. It concaves in. But I think it's more like a Caribbean thing. I feel like, wow, that's really funny. Wow, oh yeah, so exactly how I described it is how I could Google it, Caribbean steel drum.
Mhm. That's also it's well, that's also called a Jamaican kettle drum. So it's just like it's So you were technically still right.
Okay. Yeah, at first that's what I was thinking
Yeah,
of.
yeah. The straight up, and I should have said Jamaican kettle drum because but I figured because you were in New York, it was automatically a Jamaican kettle drum. But um, yeah, it also can be the timpani is also considered a kettle drum too, but it's just that's for actually like like marching bands and symphonies and all that
Mhm.
kind of shit. That's not what I was talking about.
That's the first one that came up.
Mm-hmm. No, I was talking about the Jamaican kettle drum. Yeah, steel drum, same
There we go. But yeah, okay, they're gone. um.
You need to find somebody to play the Jamaican kettle drum outside your window.
Oh my god, some kind of mating call.
Don't think I won't do it.
I know you. I know you would. So he's on comms with Cyborg, um, and he asks Batman to wait, and he's just like, "Off, I'm going in." And we find out that Royal Flush Gang is here robbing jewelry and all this stuff. And I was like, "See, Batman, this is what happens when you don't act like a team." And then,
there it is. Steel drum players for hire. Okay, got it.
oh
Continue.
god.
Yeah. So I definitely heard nothing that you just said right there because I was busy finding the steel drum player near you that I can hire to fuck with you. But
I
anyway,
see.
I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about there when he first walked in and saw what was going on. Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't act like a team member because he
Does he
didn't
ever?
stay. No, he didn't wait for backup. But then the Justice League shows up anyway.
He's a part timer. Remember?
I know. Got to be the world's greatest detective somehow in Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
How is he called the world's greatest detective?
What you mean? How is he called the world's greatest detective? He's called the world's greatest detective. I'm not sure what you're asking.
This kind of feels like he's Gotham's greatest detective, and who occasionally helps the world sometimes.
I mean, what other detective in the world do you know that's better than him?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I don't know a lot of detectives.
Exactly. You can't prove he's not. The absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence.
Yeah, Plato. So each of the members, they take off after a different member of Royal Flush Gang, overpowering them at some point. Cyborg stops King, or is that what he's just called? He's just called King.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
clearly called like just after their playing card. Like there's Ace, King, Queen, Jack, 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Still Cyborg stops King outside, and he tells them about the tech that the Royal Flush Gang is using to rob the store, but admits that he doesn't also fully understand it, which kind of frustrates everyone because Cyborg is, 3/4 computer.
Yeah.
So Wonder Woman uses the lasso on, the members of the Royal Flush Gang to get them to talk about where they got the tech from, and they also have no idea where it came from either.
Like, I don't know. Somebody gave it to us. Who? I don't know.
It just showed up. Like, so then the team, splits up with their own, I guess, individual assignments to move forward, to figure out where all this shit came from. Bruce, back at the Batcave, is greeted by Alfred, who is still a very sassy man.
Oh yeah.
Sassy butler.
The Alfred in these cartoons is the best Alfred. Like,
I love that it stays consistent.
yeah. Even if you like watch him on Batman the Animated Series, same.
It's just sassy, so like, you're bleeding on my freshly cleaned floors.
Yeah. Like after you've bathed and you've had medical treatment and you've eaten and had 8 hours of rest.
Right. And then we can talk about other stuff.
Yeah.
While they walk off doing that, Mirror Master sneaks into the cave. And I just want to know, how did he get down there again?
He snuck into the mirror of the Batmobile.
Okay. Because I was definitely
That was that
like,
moment when Batman got in the Batmobile. He kind of saw something in his rearview mirror. He was like, "The fuck was that?" And looking around, he didn't see anything. It was Mirror Master in the mirror.
got you. Okay. Because I was
That
definitely like,
whole Royal Flush Gang shit was just a thing to get Mirror
it was a
Master
deep
to
hood.
sneak into get into the Batcave, so he can get
Got
yeah, yeah.
you. Okay. I knew I had to re-ask that because I was just like, what kind of security
Yeah, yeah.
just lets you just waltz into the bat cave?
I mean, when you ride in with Batman, it's just
Hey, simple. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
right. That's why Vandal Savage is fucking savage. He just very well planned out. This was when you've been living forever,
Right.
literally.
Literally forever.
Yeah.
So Mirror Master gets into the cave and he downloads some mysterious secret data uh from Bruce's Batman's computer area thing.
Yeah, the Bat computer.
Yeah, thank you. Batputer.
Is it? I don't even know if that's actually what it's called, but that's what I call it.
Baputer.
Everything is bat something. So it's bat, yeah, bat pewter, bat computer,
Bomb-puter. No,
bat,
can't be that.
bat
Cannot be that.
screen, you know.
Bat screen. Windows 98.
Yeah, it's in the bat cave on the bat screen. Batman sits in the bat chair, that sits on the bat floor, all that.
Back OS. Bopera. um, so yeah, he takes the information and he dips. Meanwhile, we then see Bane kill an alligator, but I'd like to admit that no real alligators were hurt in the making of this film.
How you know?
I would like to hope that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how do you know where they got the sound from? Maybe they got the sound from somebody actually killing an alligator with their bare hands. You don't know. You just assuming just because it's animated, it wasn't real. You don't know. They could have gone to the swamp with a big motherfucker and said, "There's an alligator. Big motherfucker, kill that motherfucker, and we gonna get the sound from it and use it in this one small spot in this animated comic book movie."
That's a lot of work.
It is. That you don't know how dedicated they are.
I see. Star, Sapphire, and Metallo also show up, and then Cheetah and Malefic also appear, and it's just a whole bunch of bad guys in a motherfucker.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, how deep are bayous?
I mean, I've never measured them, but they're deep enough for a boat to be able to ride on them. Why?
Where the fuck did this ship come up out of? Because it came up out of the bayou.
Oh, the Hall of Doom?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It came from underneath the water. What you mean? He found the deepest spot, and that's where he put it.
That is such a big thing.
Yeah,
I feel like,
every time it pops up, like when I watch this movie, because I've watched it several times, and every time I say to myself, because I go back to Super Friends and meanwhile at the Hall of Doom, and that's one of those things. It's just for me because I know it's not that funny, but it's funny to me, so it's enough.
Because you get to see it and hear it in your head.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
I'm just saying, it's like, why is there so much space for that whole thing to be submerged and not be seen by anybody till it rises up out of the water? But anywho, the Hall of Doom rises from the bayou.
Can fit in pretty small areas if you're dedicated enough.
See, when you add the dedicated enough, that just sounds horrible.
Why is it horrible?
I don't know. Just it just feels like you're trying to jam things into spaces that are not big enough for them. It just sounds like nothing will be clean about that.
It's like a car, that seems too big for the garage, but you see, you fold the mirrors in, you line it up just right, you can get in there.
I guess it's just like, but why do I want to do all that? I just want my car to go inside.
Sometimes you gotta just like work it in there, go back and forth a few times, and then you can get all the way in there.
That's too long. It's too long.
That's what she said.
I just in, I'm good.
Sometimes the buildup is good.
Mm, not the expensive replacements of mirrors.
I mean, but sometimes it's even more satisfying once you get the car all the way in there.
I get it. Just saying, I prefer it to be easier. Anywho, Hall of Doom appears, and led by Vandal Savage. They all go in, and he says he has a plan to help each of the villains defeat their arch nemesis or enemy or arch hero, whatever you want to call them.
The dude you hate, the motherfucker you
Yeah,
hate, I can help you kill that motherfucker.
pretty much. Yeah. Because he has another plan that if they're not around, it'll help him in the long run. Meanwhile,
At the
Alfred,
Hall of Doom. Oh, sorry.
no, at Wayne Manor.
Oh, that's less fun to say, but okay.
Uh, Alfred tells Bruce that someone desecrated his parents' graves and dug up they shit.
They just dug all in there. So disrespectful.
Right? That's crazy. Just digging up people's graves and shit. That's so rude.
Well, when you see who did it, you're like, oh, that's the kind of motherfucker that would do that shit. So,
Yeah. So, Bruce goes outside to see it, and we find out it's Bane in disguise, which is why they never show us his face.
Mm-hmm.
And he kicks Bruce so hard in the back that he falls into one of the empty graves.
It is interesting, though, that of all his villains, Vandal Savage chose Bane, though. Because
Right.
Batman has a slew of villains that you could have chosen from, like a whole deep rogues gallery of people.
He has a whole universe of villains.
Yeah, so the fact that he chose Bane is interesting. But it kind of makes sense because of all the ones that have faced him. Bane's the one. They said Bane broke the bat,
Mm-hmm.
Literally, his back just cracked that shit. But yeah, it is very interesting though that he chose Bane because he's just like he could have chosen so many. Like he could have chosen the Joker, but honestly, for a plan like this, it's probably best that you don't have the Joker in on this kind of thing because
facts. He probably hopes that with his right, exactly. He probably hopes with his plan that Joker is one of the people that kind of bites the dust.
Right. Riddler, probably not because he'd be too busy trying to prove that he was smarter than Batman to actually get it done,
Or he'd be trying to make it more complicated with riddles.
Yeah. And then Two-Face, can't use Two-Face because the wrong coin flip will send it all off in the wrong direction. So
he'll be like, this doesn't feel fair.
Mm-hmm. Raj Al Ghul couldn't do it to Raj Al Ghul because he'd do the same thing. He tried to no, I'm gonna take over, not you, and it's a whole thing. And like, what you mean? You immortal? I'm immortal too, nigga. And it'll be a whole thing, and yeah,
it'd be a whole faction. There'd be factions of war, like faction wars. Vandals versus Ra's al Ghuls.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense that he chose Bane. Like, Mr. Freeze, he wouldn't have the proper motivation. Yeah, Poison Ivy, nah, she wouldn't be down with the whole solar flare thing because that killed like half of the plants and shit too. So she wouldn't be okay with that.
Scarecrow, another unpredictable one.
Yeah. But also like not physically capable of putting Batman in the grave either. So
true.
Yeah. So I guess now that I think about it, Bane makes sense. So
yeah. So kicks him into the grave. John is out for his birthday, and this waitress seemingly has a crush on him.
I'm mad he told somebody who his birthday was, and this chick randomly found out about his fake birthday that he didn't tell nobody. Like, how does that happen?
No idea. Maybe they just made up a birthday for him. This is the day you started coming into here regularly.
But like, this is the thing. Like, no, like, old girl knew his birthday, so it had to be like a birthday that he made up at some point, but he didn't really tell anybody. So like, because apparently he knew that this was the date that he had designated as his birthday. How did
Mhm.
she find out?
I don't know.
It's like she figured out his randomly designated made up birthday.
Couldn't tell you. Um,
Not saying she's creepy, but that's creepy. But go ahead.
just a little bit. Some random girl at the bar buys him a drink, and it turns out to be Malefic in disguise.
Yeah.
Wonder Woman is fighting Cheetah. Um, Barry is at a crime scene where a murder happened, which I thought was what the focus was on, and then I realized no, it's Mirror Masters committing a crime at a train station, and Barry leaves for that. Green Lantern shows up at a salt mine where this terrorist group called the Brotherhood is holding hostages.
Not
And I
to be
was like,
confused with the Brotherhood on the X-Men.
right. And I said, this feels too simple. Too simple to walk through because he like moved, he got like shot at, and then all of a sudden it was just easy to move on. Um, the Flash finally shows up at the train station where Mirror Master is trying to take all these old bills out of circulation. So it wasn't he wasn't necessarily at the train station. He just hopped on the train
Right.
that has all the monies.
All the discontinued bills. Yeah, that's one of those things. I think they used to do that back like way back when. Basically they incinerate old bills when they're taking them out of circulation and putting new ones in. So that's why like a lot of old stuff like is worth a lot more than it actually says, because it's, you know, vintage kind of thing, because they don't make them like that no more, literally. But
I
a
don't
lot of
understand
like,
the point of taking bills out of circulation.
well, they kind of get old and worn and all that kind of stuff. So you want to keep fresh bills out there so that they're all still legible and all that kind of stuff and not falling apart, and people don't have to take tender that's like, you know, damn near ripped in half and all that kind of shit. So banks kind of like do that. They kind of shuffle old bills away and bring old bills in. Like a lot of like people, like I don't even know if they still probably try still, but like back in the day, like old, like, you know, like crime organizations and shit would like steal those bills before they got incinerated and shit and use those as their money, you know, because technically it's still legal tender, but you know. So yeah, it's not it's not a new thing. It's one of those that people have done for a long time, which, you know, honestly, I'm surprised more super criminals never did it, you know, super villains, I mean.
Makes sense. But yeah, so of course it's a setup. Mirror Master's been waiting for him. Holograms all over the place. Got to figure out which one is which.
Mirror Master.
When he finally catches up
Brings
to
back
him,
annoying memories, Mara,
of
dealing with Mirror Master on The Flash, the TV show, when they finally defeated her by holding hands and using the Care Bear stare, and I'll still call it that forever. Like, it's our love, and like you literally held hands and did the Care Bear stare, and that's what beat her, and that's fucking stupid. But anyway, go ahead.
I mean, it's a CW for you. When he catches up to Mirror Master, he has some old woman in a cage, and he says the woman will die at the end of the countdown. And
the final countdown.
If he try, and so he tries to unlock the box from the challenge that, you know, that Mirror Master has left for him, and some bolt bomb bracelet goes through his wrist, like through
Surprise.
it,
Is my dick in a box?
If my through dick is, his wrist.
Yeah, if my dick is a bomb that impales you through the wrist bone.
Oh my God! Like through.
Yeah, his
arm.
Yeah, he hit him with the Jesus right through the wrist bone.
Yeah. And so pretty much he has to keep running. If he slows down or stops, it will explode. If he tries to remove it, it will explode. That's a sad time for Barry.
Yeah. So run, Barry, run.
So Bane tries to crush Bruce with a headstone and then beats him the fuck up. And he was like, when we fought before, I broke the bat. Today I break the man.
Mm-hmm.
Back at the bar, Malefic reveals to John that he slipped him magnesium alloy and then casually lights him on fire in this crowded restaurant.
Yep. And I'm looking at this and I'm just like, So light him up, light him up, light him up.
I haven't heard
He's
that
on
song
fire.
I haven't heard that song in a long time.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those songs I use if I need to hype myself up for something.
It's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
So
that
pretty
one
much
a series of different wrestling interest music, it's what I use if I want to hype myself.
Gotcha. So pretty much John is not going to die, but he's gonna wish he was, because he's gonna sweat out magnesium alloy
and just be on fire forever.
Yeah.
Like just always on fire. This nigga fell in water. It was underwater and still on fire.
I was like, that makes sense. In Metropolis, Superman gets word that there's a dude about to jump off the top of the Daily Planet, and he goes off to talk to the guy. Green Lantern saves the miners from being drilled into, because that was also a thing. And then it's like some basic dude,
who's
the bad guy, just some random dude. Back to Cheetah and Wonder Woman. Cheetah drugs Diana when she scratches her, and then all of a sudden Diana is seeing just Cheetah, and unfortunately,
everybody's Cheetah.
Yep. And unfortunately, these are regular people, so Wonder Woman's about to start fucking up some civilians. So Superman goes to see the dude at the Daily Planet, and they go back and forth, and Superman finally gets to talk him down. We find out it's Metallo, and he shoots Superman with a kryptonite bullet.
Yeah, with a kryptonite bullet, and opens up his shirt and shows his Metallo titties, and he just makes him
Metallo titties.
Yeah, I mean, if Metallo titties are kryptonite, that's just kind of what it is. And he falls off the building.
It's traumatizing. Green Lantern finds one more hostage, and the bad guy blows them up, and Green Lantern feels bad, and Sapphire shows up, makes him feel like shit, and he takes off the ring, and that was it. Everyone is fucked up except for Cyborg. Bruce wakes up in a casket and has to bride himself from the inside, if you know Kill Bill.
Yeah. He had his keys still though, so he had a little bit of help.
Yeah. The League at the Hall of Doom, they are all cheering to them all being successful in their plans.
Do it.
What?
Gotta go. Meanwhile, at the Hall of Doom.
Thank you. Vandal tells the rest of them his plan. And all I kept thinking was, this is Thanos before Thanos came up in the MCU.
Yeah. Thanos before Thanos did the Thanos. Yeah.
He pretty much wants to eradicate half of the planet.
Only difference is it's not, completely randomized. It's literally just people who live on that side of the planet. Yo, bad.
Yeah.
Living there.
He's just like, yeah, essentially. And then
like,
Vandal.
I love the fact that it's literally the side that America's on too, because he's like, you know what, fuck them.
Because everything loves to destroy America. It's just gonna be a thing.
If you look at America's history, you kind of understand why.
Yeah. So it's Anywho, he was like, so his plan is to fire a rocket into the sun. It'll trigger a solar flare, and it'll just destroy that half of the planet and disable technology in what I looked up, he said was more advanced than a steam engine. So
Yeah.
pretty much he's knocking us down to Mad Max
Mhm.
times.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, and we know at that time that what was not one rocket was like a rocket that turned into a bunch of mini rockets. And I'm like, well, when did he say that shit? But okay.
Right. He talks about, you know, his past and all that stuff and watching time go forward and da 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 da.
Yeah, like meteor striking and gave him powers and shit. Like basically said he can't die. Like
It evolved him.
yeah, yeah, to a nigga that can't die.
Right. So Cheetah tests the theory that he can't die, slashes his throat, and then he gets up and he says he'll spare anyone who's caring, and he has nukes for those who will fight back. Um, Back where Diana is, Cyborg shows up and he's asking the police why are they fighting Wonder Woman, and he's like, she acting crazy.
I
She
said
was attacking
she's fighting
civilians.
us. Like
Right.
we had
She
to
was
neutralize, which we can't
attacking,
because she's fucking Wonder Woman.
you know? So they were so Cyborg goes to talk to Diana. Her shit's all crazy, like her blood pressure and her heart rate are up. And he's like, well, it seems like she's just gonna keep going till her heart gives out, or until someone puts a bullet in her face.
that she can't block with the little,
Yeah, essentially. She has all this nanotechnology that makes her see whatever Cheetah wants her to see, and she rips his arm off.
And of course, Cheetah just wants her to see all Cheetah all the time because Cheetah's obsessed with herself. So,
Mm. Once Bruce gets out of the grave,
kind of tracks because she's a cat. So,
yeah, it's all about me. After Bruce gets out of the casket, which is also where he's also buried in the casket with his dead parents' corpses.
well, one of them.
One of them, you're right. That's still crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
it's pretty fucking sick. And honestly, Bane, good on you because that's brilliant. If you really want to break somebody's mind, you bury them in
he's
a
like,
casket with their dead parent. Like,
I'm gonna break his brain before I break his body
yeah,
again.
yeah. Basically, he's just like, yo, if you really want to fuck with somebody that's like literally obsessed with their parents' death, you put them in a casket with the dead parent's body. You know, like, and the good thing about that too was rewinding back. They're like, something about the Mirror Master getting the information and everything. Like, no, just get what I asked you for. Like, you don't want to know who Batman is. You're like, that's of no consequence to me. And also, I already know, so whatever. He's like,
Yeah.
wait, you know who Batman is? Like, he just casually sitting on the information of who Batman is because that's like honestly, if you're Vandal Savage, yeah, that's beneath you. Who
I was
fucking
gonna say,
cares?
yeah, like he's been alive for 50,000 years. He's like, that shit don't mean anything.
Yeah, it means nothing to him. He don't give a
Especially
shit.
after my plan is enacted.
Yeah, like I don't care. And I'm sure once he told Bane, Bane was like, oh my God, oh shit. Which, by the way, we got to address the fact that Bane now knows who Batman is. But yeah, like I don't know what they do about that problem.
Right? It was like, what stops Bane from just casually just coming back to your house?
Yeah.
To try and kill you.
Or telling all of Batman's rogues gallery who the fuck Batman is. Like, and they all show up at his house. Like, announcing it to all of Gotham City because he's perfectly capable of doing so. Like, that needs to be addressed, and they don't address it, and that bothers me.
Sorry.
I mean, you don't have to be sorry. They're the ones that left that hole.
This is true.
And didn't fill it. You got to fill the holes.
Once he gets out of the grave, Alfred tells him that he updates him about what happened with Superman, and he's like, they kind of need you to show up. And then
like,
he
calls
did
what, and then he starts telling them all the stuff that happened, right?
Yeah, he updates him about what happened with Superman and all that, and he calls the Justice League to create a plan, and he's just like, Flash is like, I can't help you. I have a bomb stuck on my wrist. And that's when Batman started realizing these are my plans.
Shit. Somebody's using my plans. Uh-oh.
Yep. And so the Flash says he's going to run to an iceberg to phase through it so that he can get the bracelet off and it works.
Yes,
Because
it'll
I
slow
get,
down a little bit. Just give him just enough time to get away from it, like barely
yeah.
enough time.
Diana cures John of his magnesium alloy sweat. Uh, and then John is curious as to how Batman knew about the magnesium
Oh, you
problem,
missed
but the,
that part when he was like said like, "Yo, we gotta do something about this. The Justice League is under attack." And they're like, "By who?" Like, "By me."
yeah.
Like, "By me, nigga." Like, whew.
And then so Batman goes to see Green Lantern. He tells him the dead girl was actually a robot, rips the head off right from him, and says that he was dosed with fear toxin. And I just want to know when.
When he walked in.
Okay, it was just there.
Mm-hmm. Like they had it ready for him. That's all. It wasn't nothing like crazy. Just
Mm,
mixed everything up with the fear toxin. Like, anytime any dust was kicked up, they could have just thrown some in there.
you're right.
It's But yeah, they combine that with the fear toxin, and it's just like, yeah, fear is the enemy of will, and that's what the Green Lantern ring powers off of is will. And when you don't have will, it doesn't work.
Makes sense.
Yeah, all the different core rings are like have a different thing. It's just like there's will, there's the yellow is fear, orange is greed, I think. Red is anger, blue I believe is virtue. Like it's all different stuff, and it's. I wish there was a whole Lantern Corps movie, like just about Lantern Corps stuff. I think there is, but it's not like as deep into it.
Like an animated one,
Yeah,
or like just anyone.
yeah, an animated one. I'm not
Oh,
talking. I'm not talking about the Ryan Reynolds movie. I'm talking about like one.
oh, I wasn't talking about that one either. I was like, I thought they were doing another take at
They're supposed to
Green
be doing a
Lantern.
show on HBO Max, but they've been talking about
Oh,
it
okay.
forever. Yeah, yeah.
I wasn't sure if it
That's
was a
story.
show or if it was a
Yeah, it was a show on HBO Max. They've been talking
okay.
about doing, but we'll see if that ever actually happens.
If it comes to fruition.
Yeah.
But where did we leave off at? Oh, but yeah. So they
John,
show up
John was
where
like, "How the fuck you know that?" Yeah.
they show up where Superman is, and Cyborg and John perform surgery to get the bullet out of him. And
Mm-hmm.
all I also was thinking was that like Superman just laying here on the ground and no one can really be like, no one can literally look and be like, that's not Clark.
No, man, the hair is different and no glasses. It's all just, it's enough. It's enough. Did you see that picture? I forgot who it was of somebody like it was some actress. Like they showed a picture of her with bangs and glasses, and the picture of her with no
Mhm.
bangs and no glasses, and she looks like a completely different person.
Yeah, I've also heard that about myself. So,
Kinda. If I ever saw you like as a superhero without glasses on, though, I'd know who you are.
but yeah, so they cure him. Clark wakes up. He asks what happens. Batman tells them that he has contingency plans for everyone, not to kill, but just to kind of sit down, have a seat.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the Justice League show up at the Hall of Doom once they figure out what um once they figure out where Vandal Savage is and all of them are and all that shit because of firewalls and software that Batman has that calls home when it's been turned on. It's nerd shit that I don't understand
Don't worry
myself.
about it. You don't have to know.
Exactly.
It's not required for you to understand it. Just know shit's gonna happen.
Yeah, just know that he has an air tag on his data. He has Find My turned on. They show up, and as of course it's gonna be fight time. You got Metallo versus Superman, and Superman laser-eyed Metallo's head off, which defeated him.
Mm-hmm.
John versus Malefic, and they are just shifting into many different animals fighting.
Yeah, alien animals, like not even just like
Yeah,
tiny,
not
like
regular Earth ones.
yeah, shit that none of us have ever seen before. We'll probably never see again. It's just,
Nope. Star Sapphire and Green Lantern fight. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know who the fuck Star Sapphire was until this. And I was trying to understand why she's so mad at him. And
oh
she's just like, because you hurt my feelings and I'll never forgive you for that. And I was like, wow, you are petty.
yeah, yeah,
Love
yeah.
it.
Angry ex-girlfriend. That's what that is.
Essentially.
Yeah.
And she lost. Um, she got the upper hand, but then he got the best of her. So there was that. Flash versus the Mirror Master. He showed a bunch of himself and then like he mirrored himself all over the place.
Did you I doubt it, but did you ever watch any of the Green Lantern animated series?
No.
Never mind then. They
Okay.
did some of the stuff with the different Lantern Corps on there too, but not a lot. But it was one of those things like it could have been a really good show if they kept with it, but they didn't. They let it end, and I'm assuming they just didn't sell enough toys.
And then of course, Flash beats Mirror Master, Cheetah versus Wonder Woman, and then that's a thing. Batman versus Bane. He cut off Bane's venom to defeat him. And then Cyborg is trying to stop the missile launch when Vandal Savage stabs him in the back before Spider hang him off of.
I kind of want to do something Green Lantern next.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting. I actually haven't watched, I don't think anything solely Green Lantern based.
Like outside of Batman, if I really think about it, Green Lantern is probably my second favorite DC hero. Not necessarily Hal Jordan, like John Stewart is probably my favorite version of Green Lantern, but I'll settle for Hal Jordan. But yeah, Green Lantern is probably my second favorite hero in
All
DC.
Right. So we'll do it.
Yeah. There's a couple of Green Lantern movies. Yeah.
Okay.
There's Emerald Knights and there's First Flight. So we can probably do First Flight and then Emerald Knights after that. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay. So Vandal sets off the missile and Superman goes off after it and he tries to intercept it, but he's not fast enough. And now a solar flare is heading towards the Earth. Green Lantern tries to buy them some more time because they only have 8 minutes.
They do a little green little shield thing to block the solar flare.
And then Superman ponders if one of the options was, could he just move the Earth a few feet?
Bruh, and like, how are you strong enough? That's just something that occurs to you. What if I just move the entire Earth? That just lets you know how fucking strong this dude is and how much he holds back.
Yes, I was gonna say how much he be holding back.
Like, how about I just move the Earth? That's why when we're watching Superman and Lois, once again, I'm just like, why are you talking to this man like this? What is wrong with you?
Right? Like you done lost your mind.
Yeah. It's just one of those things you're reminded how fucking strong Superman is. Like, it's ridiculous. How about I just move the Earth? Like, the fuck?
I related, and I like that Bruce said it. He was just like, we could be here a week and I still wouldn't have listed all the reasons why that's a bad idea.
Yeah.
And I was sitting here just like, I'm screaming because that is a horrible idea, Clark.
It is.
You would kill all of us.
Nobody ever accused Superman of being a genius. Okay. Like,
this is true.
He's more reactive than proactive on anything. So he's just like, this happened. Like, oh, wait, something's coming. I'll move the Earth out of the way. Like, that's just kind of
no.
That's how he thinks. Like,
imagine they were all just like, no.
Yeah, like that's why you need both Batman and Superman, because you need Batman to be like, no, that's a bad fucking idea. But
logically, that's a bad one.
But every now and then you also have enemies that even Batman can't defeat, like like Darkseid. You're like, Superman, I need you to go punch the thing. Like, so it's just balance.
He's like Hulk.
Yeah, you need someone to point them in the right direction. But if you leave them completely to their own devices, they'll try to do stupid shit like move the entire Earth out of the way.
So they're trying to figure out how to protect the people on the sun side. Cyborg figures out, I think, a way to use the tech that Vandal was using before with the Royal Flush Gang. They can use that, I think.
Yeah, to make themselves intangible. So like the solar flare just go right through it. And like, how can we do enough to make the whole Earth intangible? And they're like, yeah, we need enough power. But yeah,
We could definitely try. The plan works. I won't lie, it looked like they were about to be destroyed on both sides for a quick second
well, yeah,
because it went out the other side.
the watchtower was damn near falling apart. Like it was, stuff was exploding and shorting out and all that kind of stuff. But yeah.
But they did it. The World Court found Vandal guilty of crimes against humanity or the planet.
Yeah, no shit.
And he will
like
serve.
Yeah,
and
I almost killed half the planet on purpose. Yeah, I'd constitute that as a crime against humanity.
They said, what was the verdict or what was the sentencing? Nigga, life.
Yeah.
Life.
So forever.
With no chance of parole. Could you have imagined if they said he had a chance for parole?
Yeah. Like life with possibility of parole in 20 years. He's like, nigga, he'll just wait it out. He lives forever. Like,
okay,
I wonder what happens if you like completely remove his head from his body, though. Like, what happens?
They could Kennedy him from Futurama.
You talking about the head in the jar thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Does that happen? I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I'm just curious what happens if you completely decapitate him.
I would like to see a film of that. We should draw them.
I need to like write the DC people like, Vandal Savage can't die. What happens if you decapitate him?
Who's the creator of Vandal Savage's character?
Good question.
They're still alive. I would just tweet them. I'd be like, can you answer this debate for us? Well, not this debate.
It's not debate, it's a legit question. Like, we just want to know. He can't die. So what happens when you decapitate him and just keep his head separate from his body?
Alfred Bester. And he is dead.
I figured. Vandal Savage has been around for a while. So, but it is the thing, like, these characters like evolve. No character that we know now is the same as they were when they were created. So it's just like, I don't know if the can't die thing happened later, or I'd have to really look into like the development of Vandal Savage, and I don't have the time right now. But like, I really want to know. I just want to know, like, if you decapitate him and keep his head separate from his body, what happens? Does he grow another head on his body? Does he grow a whole other body on his head? Does he just stay like decapitated yet alive? Like what happens there? Can he still operate? Can he still operate his body while his head is separate from his body? Like what really? How does this all work?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, because like if he can't, then is he just a head that can talk shit? Like because if that's the case, then you can just decapitate him while he's in prison to keep him from doing anything wrong, so he can't escape and all that kind of shit,
Mm-hmm.
You still technically haven't killed him, so he's still alive, still serving life. So it's just, just his head in a jar.
Just talking.
I mean, that's why you put it in a jar of water, because the water and stuff will keep him from actually being able to talk. You don't even need the special, like, liquid stuff from Futurama. Just put him in the water. Nobody knows what the fuck he's saying.
I was trying to look up and see if there's anything deeper on his immortality.
I don't know.
Nope. Anywho, so yeah, he's in jail now. And I was like, surprise. Cyborg gets officially inducted into Justice League. And then Superman asks for a vote on whether Bruce should stay or not. And Bruce doubles down on, I'm not apologizing for shit.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Another thing when I'm watching, it's like, no, he's fucking right. Like, it's just like if you don't see the need for this, you're fucking idiots. And like, I don't want to be here anyway. So deuces. And I'm like, he's not wrong. Like, just anything can happen. Superman gets some red kryptonite, everything goes to shit. You need to know how to take his ass down. Wonder Woman loses her shit for any legitimate reason, like mind control or whatever the fuck. He'd be able to neutralize that motherfucker. Flash loses his shit. He'd be able to neutralize his ass. Like, it's just,
And they were just like, you really don't believe that we couldn't prevent those things from happening? And it's just like, it can.
It legit has. Like, it's the thing. All of them have had something happen to them where they were not in their own mind or out of in their own control at some point.
Within this timeline.
Like, and Batman having contingencies for that is legitimate, and honestly practical. Like, it makes sense. There's no reason why he shouldn't do that. It's right up there with when we were watching Supergirl. I used to get so mad when Carl get upset at somebody for having kryptonite. Like,
bitch, you are invincible without it.
Like, we're supposed to just trust that no matter what, you'll never harm us because you have the power to kill all of us with your fucking pinky. So
right, within seconds.
And you expect us to just trust you with that power, right? So why can't you trust us with the power to hurt you?
Within seconds. The power to kill us all within seconds. So Superman goes to talk to Batman and he asks if Batman has a plan for himself. And he goes, yes, I have the Justice League. And I was like, you fucking right, because y'all keep forgetting Batman is human.
Yeah, basically. Like, you all have superpowers except that nigga. Now, the problem is if Batman does actually like go rogue, like he has a plan to take all of them out if they try to stop him, but that's neither here nor there. But
right, like that's not the point. But it's just like it'd be very easy to just take him out really quick.
I mean, it probably wouldn't be easy, but like they can do it.
Right, like it's possible.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, now he has a plan for Cyborg too, so it's just, hopefully it's somebody like mind controls him or some shit. Like, they don't know all his plans and shit, but they probably would. So honestly, if somebody like, mind controls Batman or some shit, the Justice League is fucked. But like, because honestly, when you saw what was happening with all of them, none of them knew what to do. Like, none of them. So
right. They were just treating it like everyday business.
Yeah. So when that happens, if he really decides to, if he decides to go rogue, he legit would like take out the Justice League first. So like, kind of fucked.
So Superman, to conclude, approved of Batman's response, and he gives the kryptonite bullet back to him and returns him to the Earth.
Yeah, and he's like, if anybody's gonna be the one trusted with what could stop me, I want it to be you. I'm like, yeah. I mean, he's the right one.
This is like, okay, Soups. This ain't rocket science.
My favorite thing about that is like he gave him back the kryptonite bullet. Like, he just assumed Batman only had one. Like, it's like you think Batman only had one thing of kryptonite? Like,
you don't think he doesn't have a whole clip filled, a whole magazine filled already?
Like, you think he don't have more kryptonite? Like, really?
They don't even have Green Arrow yet. I was like, he already plotting up on arrows.
Yeah. It's just, wow. It's funny though. I enjoy this movie though. I like it a lot.
This was a good one. Yeah. But that was Justice League Doom, y'all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the movie. I enjoyed that though. For the first time watching it, I did enjoy that.
Yeah, and we've already decided next time we're doing Green Lantern First Flight, so that'll be the next one.
Green Lantern First Flight.
Yeah, that'll be fun. I haven't watched that one in quite a while. Like, there are some of these that are my favorites that I watch not regularly, but like if a year goes by and I haven't watched them all, something's wrong. Like, Doom is one. Like, had we not done this, I still would have watched Doom sometime this year. Crisis on Two Earths, most definitely would have still watched that. What else? What else have we done? I don't know. Death of Superman I probably would have watched. I may not have watched all the stuff after that, but I definitely would have watched Death of Superman again. Gotcha. One of my favorite stories. Death of Superman and Reign of the Superman. I definitely would have watched those at some point. But yeah, a lot of these, like, just I enjoy them. Flashpoint Paradox. I would have watched that too. Did we do
Mm,
that yet?
I
We
think
didn't do
so.
that. No, we
We
talked
didn't?
about it. We talked about it, but I don't think we actually did that
Oh, put that on the list.
one. Yeah, yeah. I kind of want to do that before Green Lantern now.
All right.
No.
Okay.
Let's do Green Lantern first. Let's do Green Lantern first. Well, like my ADD's kicking in again, where I'm like, oh, I want to do the new shiny thing. No. We'll do Green Lantern first, and then we can come back to Flashpoint Paradox. So, like, make a note of that. I'll forget. So we're doing Green Lantern First Flight, and then Green Lantern Emerald Knights, and then Flashpoint Paradox.
Emerald Knights.
Emerald Knights, yeah. Like green emeralds. Knights, like
Knights.
Knights in shining armor.
Okay. Cool.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay.
So that'll be it for this Patreon episode of Multiverse, or YouTube version if you're watching it a month later.
Losers.
I'm
kidding. Thanks for watching us anywhere you watch us.
Facts. Your support is great. If you want to chit chat more about Justice League Doom, or send memes, or shoot the shit about other DC stuff, we have a podcast that goes along with, podcast. We have a Facebook group that goes with this podcast called Super Flash Arrow of Tomorrow. That link is facebook.com/group/Super Flash Arrow of Tomorrow. Say that 5 times fast.
Remember when I came up with the name for that podcast? I'm like, this is dumb. I love it.
And they made it all one word. Whatever. We also have a page for the channel itself. That's facebook.com/Creatia World, CREATIA World. Creatia. That's what I spelled.
Yeah, you spelled Creatia. I don't know
Creatia World.
I don't know Creatia, but Creatia, I know. I do know that.
Facebook.com/Creatia World. Mm-hmm. If you're a wrestling fan, we have a wrestling podcast called Smacking It Raw. And then the Facebook group for that is what, Travis?
It's facebook.com/group/Smacking It Raw. Also, Twitter and Instagram for us at The Creatia World, at THECREATIA World. We don't tell you how to spell world because honestly, like,
you should know that from first grade.
Yeah. And if you're like beneath first grade, like, ask your mom, like, for real, or your dad, or your guardian.
If you're below first grade and watching this, I want to talk to your mom and dad.
So do I want to talk to your mom. Let me talk to your mom.
Oh my God. Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Mara the Shark.
Single moms are so much fun, Mara. Like, if you get a hold of them when they can get away from their kids, like, it is so great. It's so much fun.
I haven't got bad reviews, so
I know. I figured you could relate. That's why I said it.
Yeah, I can heavily relate. I've been told I'm quite a fun time when I'm out of mom mode.
Yeah. Because y'all don't get to do that often enough. So when you do, you're like,
let loose.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram, Mara the Shark, MARADASHARK. Travis, where can they find you?
Find me on both Twitter and Instagram at Lord_Cussalott. That is at LORD_CUSSALOTT.
That'll be it for this episode of Multiverse. We will see you next time. Say goodbye, Travis. Bye.
Hard work pays off. Dreams come true. Bad times don't last, but bad guys do. Later.